We should be a Christian nation.
Welcome to the end of democracy.
Oh, now, great.
The end of democracy.
But see, all these things that they're saying, they're outrageous. I mean, who would be allowed to say we're going to end democracy as a religious group? That's insane that people are thinking this is okay.
The funny thing is America's a republic, and it was supposed to have individual rights and freedoms, and now it's switching to democracy, and now it's switching to let's remove democracy and go to
totalitarian.
Yeah.
We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it and replace it with this right here.
That was a cross he was holding. The idea that the will of voters is irrelevant because God has anointed Trump was a recurring message in the efforts to overturn the 2020 election.
Because it is not Joe Biden that rules this country. Jesus Christ is the king of everything in this world. Christ is king! Christ is king! Christ is king!
In previous videos, I've highlighted how MAGA Republicans have embraced core elements of fascism. The combination of fascism and Christian nationalism is called Christofascism, a term first used half a century ago by the theologian Dorothy Zola. Fascists rise to power by characterizing their opponents as subhuman. Christofascists take it a step further by casting opponents as not just subhuman, but actually demonic.
People like Nancy Pelosi, she's a demon.
Framing opponents as enemies of God makes violence against them not only seem justifiable, but divinely sanctioned and almost inevitable.
We are going to put on the armor of God. And maybe strap on a Glock on the side of us just in case.
When we take power, they need to be given the death penalty.
Whoa.
And these people that are suppressing the name Christ and suppressing Christianity, they must be absolutely annihilated when we take power.
That's crazy.
It's unbelievable the things that they're saying.
And that's Christ-like. That's not
Put
how
the armor
God
of
talks.
God with the Glock on our side.
And annihilate people who disagree.
And that's what it's saying, unfortunately, in Revelation 13.
Yeah.
That those who don't go along with this image of the beast, which is a religious system, those who don't want this, they will be said that they will be put to death. Now, I just want to, spoiler alert, the Bible says that when they do put this decree to kill God's people, they won't be killed. So that's a promise that God gives us. But there's other aspects here that are of persecution that will actually take place.
Yes.
And that's what we're trying to make everybody aware of.
Now, he brought up something called Christofascism, a kind of blending of Christian nationalism and fascism. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in some of the Truth Matters episodes. But I do want to say that the Catholic Church is fascist. That is its belief system. And so the fact that Christianity and Catholicism is blending and that we're seeing these fascist ideas coming in is definitely alarming and definitely eye-opening, and people need to sit up and notice these things. And I'm sure there are people, I mean, these people are clearly even anti-Christian, some of these people that we're playing here, but they're seeing it. And we just got to really be aware of what's coming, because it is coming faster than we think.
Eyeing a friendly Supreme Court, Republicans push for the 10 Commandments in schools. I mean, we've seen this a lot, that there's this push. We're going to put the 10 Commandments. We're going to read the Bible. We're going to pray in school again. And these are not necessarily things that I think are bad.
Right.
I think that is not a bad thing. It's bad in the sense that what if there's a Muslim there? What if there's someone else there that now you're not giving that freedom of religion anymore if it's forced to have it.
Right.
Now, if you want to have that, you can have them in a Christian school.
Right. Or
you
homeschool.
Can homeschool them. You know, this would be a right way to do this, not to force every single school, even a Buddhist school or anything like this, to have a Bible there.
Right.
And these may seem like little things, but they lead in a certain direction.
Correct.
And that doesn't mean that we promote pushing down Christianity.
No.
Absolutely not. We
No.
want everybody to hear about Christ.
If people want to pray in school, they should be allowed to pray in school.
Absolutely.
That's called religious liberty.
Yeah, and be able to talk to people about their religion.
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
Project 2025. He's going to lead the Office of Management and Budget. It was only a few months ago when Project 2025 was so toxic to the Trump's presidential bid that he and the members of his campaign were forced to deny any connection to it repeatedly. In July, Trump himself posted on Truth Social, quote, "I know nothing about Project 2025. I have no idea who's behind it. I disagree with some of the things they're saying, and some of the things they're saying are absolutely ridiculous and abysmal. Anything they do, I wish them luck, but I have nothing to do with them."
That's a funny statement to say, I know nothing, but, I don't agree. And
I know it's ridiculous and abysmal.
yeah,
So.
which is a contradiction in
Correct.
itself.
Yeah.
Well, that politically expedient lie was repeated by Trump campaign officials so that the deeply unpopular Project 2025 wouldn't derail Trump's presidential campaign. But now that Trump has been elected, he's freely appointing the architects of Project 2025, people who already have deep ties to Trump, to key cabinet-level posts. Case in point, the aforementioned Russell Vought, who was just announced last night as Trump's pick to be the director of the Office of Management and Budget, a role.
So we have these guys that are part of Project 2025 that are being put in Trump's office.
Yes.
And it's kind of hard to say that there's no way he knows any of this, and yet he picked these guys.
Well, Paula White-Cain was one of those people from Project 2025. Caroline Leavitt, the press secretary, was one of those people. And there's a whole slew of them that have been put into the office, into administration, and yet he claims he knows nothing. That seems fishy to me.
Now, if we look here, obviously things are moving forward.
Obviously.
The Project 2025 tracker is at 46% finished. We just updated that as we started the episode here. And then we can see a good thing, which is this section has not been started. And this section says issue an executive order protecting religious employers and employees. Clarify they may make employment decisions based on religion.
So that means you can get fired for Sunday worship. Employers have to give off for Sunday worship. And we actually have the wording here in the Project 2025 that it provides robust protections for religious employers. America's religious diversity means that workplaces include people of many faiths and that many employers are faith-based. The Biden administration has been hostile, especially those with traditional beliefs. So it didn't mention biblical beliefs, which is another interesting point. The new administration should enact policies with robust respect for religious exercise in the workplace. Now, again, that's not bad. We should have religious liberty in the workplace. If a person has religious convictions about something, that should be honored. Now, they say here, Sabbath rest. God ordained the Sabbath as a day of rest. Now, this Sabbath is not the seventh-day Sabbath of the Bible. In the legislature, they made a decision that Sabbath means Sunday.
Yes.
Already. So when they say
And
Sabbath.
that was in the early 1900s.
Right. So when they say Sabbath, it means Sunday. But they do say that here there are a shared day off makes it possible for families and communities to enjoy time together. So that's a shared day. And in the next slide, we see that that day would default to Sunday.
Yeah.
The Congress should encourage this, except for employers with a sincere religious observance of a Sabbath at a different time. So that's employers. I don't know if that includes employees, but employers with a sincere religious observance of a Sabbath at a different time, example, Friday to Sabbath sundown, that would be obviously Seventh-day Adventists because those are the people that keep that time.
Now, the scary thing about this is the default is Sunday.
Right.
And what that means is as soon as there's a crisis, the framework, if it's in place, it's going to default back to the default. Because in a crisis, I'm sorry, we can't do
make these exceptions.
Yep, no, that's not going to work. We have this and this and this. This has to be the way it is. And if this would go through, it's going to be extremely quick and easy. And we've seen this in history before where oh, we're going to make exceptions for this and this. Crisis comes, exceptions are gone.
Right.
The Hill, Trump signs order to establish White House faith office.
So this is interesting, putting the church directly into the state.
Yeah, and now we're getting that direct connection right in the White House. President Trump signed an executive order Friday to establish a White House faith office in an effort to empower faith-based entities. And then it says that it's going to be for the effect of combating anti-Semitism, anti-Christianity, and other anti-religious bias according to the order.
Right. And the question is, who defines what's anti-Christian? Because in the Dark Ages, when the Catholics were in charge, there were people who dissented against some of the things that they were teaching, maybe infant baptism, or even that the host was actually Jesus's flesh. They were not anti-Christian. They were not anti-Bible. They were complete Christians who believed in Jesus and wanted to serve him, but they didn't agree with the Catholic Church version.
Yeah.
And they were persecuted. So the definition here is, what is anti-Christian?
And that's something that is not properly defined.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's anti whatever the regime is, whatever, anti-Christianity means whatever their version of Christianity is, which unfortunately it's not the Bible version of Christianity. So even though they're promoting Bibles and they're promoting these things, what they think is going to happen in America, in the world, their doctrines, all of these things aren't purely based on the Bible.